Well, the weather outside was frightful. Unlike Brian's house, I have no fire that's delightful. It's time to do this freaking show. By the way, this week here in Ohio, it freaking snowed. Welcome to Wrestling with Egos. However you might be listening or watching this crazy ass show, whether it be on YouTube, Intergalactic Radio, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, any other podcasting platform. Thank you guys so much for making Wrestling with Egos part of your wrestling experience for the week. My name's Patrick. I'm joined each and every week by my boys Brian and Isaac. Before I say hello to them, want to remind you guys, if you want to get in touch with the show, 4 different Twitter accounts to hit up. The main one, the show's account, Wrestling X Egos. Brian is B Kriego15. Isaac is I the 4th, ID4TH. And then myself, Rant Mode On. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the bell for all the notifications. Show us some love, because it's still the drive for 500. That way Brian can chop my ass and we can put this shit on YouTube and make it look awesome. Gentlemen, how goes?
I'm good. Real good. Glad this week is over.
Down, which means our podcast audience, which cannot see your face, does not know how you're feeling. You have to verbally expound upon your feelings, my friend.
I was just waiting for Isaac to get in there, because I always jump in there and cut him off, and I feel bad for my brother. So I was just letting him have the honors, you know?
I get it. I'd like to point out that for the first time ever, Isaac is wearing his Captain America shirt, and I'm not. It seems like every time you wear that damn shirt, I'm wearing a Captain America shirt as well. So thank God we broke that tradition, because we people make the joke that, oh, you and Isaac are twins. I'm like, no, we're not. We're wearing a Captain America shirt and we're both bald. That's about it.
That's as much as the Venn diagram intersects on that one.
Exactly. One of us is taller, not me. One of us is darker, not me. One of us has a deeper voice, not me.
Wow.
I promise I'm drinking. I'm just in a really freaking good mood tonight, because we have a great show planned for you guys. We're going to take a deep dive into SummerSlam 1993 for the Undertaker. What? Bree, why are you putting up 4 fingers? It's WWF, not WCW, so we're not doing the Horsemen.
I'll tell you why I'm putting up 4 fingers, because you led us down the primrose path last week, good sir. You were like, well, we're going to go into a similar time frame in the great wrestling timeline, and we're going to see what the big WWF was doing back then. And so I sat down earlier this week with the pen and the paper, and I hit the remote, and I pulled the network up, and I'm like, okay, well, they're called premium live events now. That's fine, whatever. And we're going to move over. SummerSlam was all the way at the end because it's out of season, but that's fine. And I'm scrolling down to 93, and I see Yokozuna in the thumbnail. And I'm like, wait just a minute. And then I look at the thumbnail right above that, and I see Undertaker versus Underfaker. And I'm like, well, someone screwed up. So that's why I'm holding up 4 fingers. But it works because it's a similar era in wrestling. And what we're trying to do here with this little exercise is draw comparisons between the 2 big promotions of the time. What was WCW doing that was better? What was WWF doing that was better? And the final analysis on that is coming. So,
what had happened was,
yeah, what about that?
So yeah, my bad. Hopefully, if you guys were watching along with us and getting ready for this week's show, hopefully you realized the same thing, because I realized it too, and was like, oops. Hopefully we're all smart enough to figure out that I was a dumbass on that one. Sorry about that. But this
so if I do go off on a tangent for 20 minutes later talking about the brilliance of the big man that was Yokozuna, rest in peace, my man. Please stop me.
We can totally do that. But one thing I did want to point out, 2 weeks ago when we started these deep dives, when we began our shows here in 2022, we had a show that we just completely just ripped apart and made fun of. And then last week, we had a show that we just praised because there were so many great matches. Tonight, we're going to do both.
Because there's a lot to like here and there's a lot to hate.
Oh, yes, there is. But before we get into that, before we started the show, Brian demanded, not just asked for, freaking-manded, pounding his fist on his desk, demanded 10 to 15 minutes of our good time, of your good time, because he has some things topically that's happening right now in wrestling that we need to talk about. Programming note, we will spend 10, 15, 20 minutes next week talking about the 2022 Royal Rumble. I'm not going to say anything else because I'm going to have one hell of a rant next week. Brian!
Because it's hashtag Rumble season.
I hate that. I hate the SZN stuff. It's like that damn sports channel, DAZN. I'm like,
but it gives me something to be hip with, and I'm always looking for opportunities to be hip and fresh and au courant, as they say. So give me my indulgences. I give you guys all your indulgences. Isaac's great at trivia, and Patrick's great at testifying and all this stuff. What is Brian great at? He pretends to be hip. That's what
Patrick's great at what?
Testifying.
Oh, okay.
Preaching.
I thought you said everything.
No, I said testifying. I will never.
There.
My bad.
We will have an acute case of swelled head syndrome if that sentence ever comes out of my mouth. So,
B, I'm listening. I got to make a run to the fridge. Let's get this party started, Bubba.
I felt like today would be a good chance to get a little topical before our deep dive on SummerSlam 94. We're going to play a quick game of big deal, little deal, no deal. There's 3 things that I think are major going on in the world of wrestling right now that I think bear some discussion. And the first one I want to start with is a situation happening in WWE as it pertains to one Mustafa Ali. This man we've known long, I would say for the better part of a year and a half now, maybe even longer, has been frustrated with his station in WWE and has made overtures asking for his release so that he can do other things, whatever those other things are. He asked for it again at the beginning of the week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. We saw tweets about I am asking for my release.
Yes.
I can no longer accomplish the things I want to accomplish with the platform that I have right now. And I thought, good for you. You're taking control of the situation. Well, then 2 days later, news comes out that the company is not inclined to grant him his request. So is this a big deal? Is it a little deal? Or is it no deal? Patrick, the floor is yours.
None of the above. Because for a big deal, it would be a thumbs up. For a little deal, it would be a thumbs down. And for no deal, there'd be nothing. To me, this is a medium deal. And here's why. One, Mustafa Ali, I am not going to try and go with his real name because I'll butcher it, and I like the guy too much to not butcher his name.
I believe it's Alil Adim.
Might be right.
Yes.
I'll let you fly on that branch, not me. For the record, real quick, you guys might remember last year on a specific episode, I was dog sitting my in-laws' dogs while the rest of my family was out on a trip with my in-laws. That's happening again tonight. So I currently have the show's mascot, Jenny the cat, right there. And I have Scotty and Penny right there, and they've made eye contact. You've been warned. Anyway,
I told y'all it's Rumble season.
dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Name the movie.
It's about to go down. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, it's a medium deal for multiple reasons. Number one, he is getting screwed in no uncertain terms. Yeah, the guy's making money, but one, he's a creative genius. If you've ever seen any of the vignettes and promos that he has cut himself and posted on Twitter, his Twitter is a great follow, by the way. He's cut some amazing promos on his own Twitter. The one that stands out to me a couple of years ago, he cut one on Hideo Itami when they were feuding on 205 Live, and he cut it in the pouring ass rain and talking about traveling down the road. And he was standing like in the middle of one. He was like, the roads are road less traveled, blah, 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 blah. And as he ended it, he kind of looked down the road that he was at, and he was like, Hideo, I'll see you down the road. I'll see you down that road. Or however, I'm not doing it justice. But he's getting screwed because he is immensely talented in the ring. He is immensely talented on the mic. He is well spoken. By all accounts, you can pretty much judge his character, like personal character, on Twitter and find out this is a really damn good dude. And he's sitting on his hands. They're not doing anything with him. By the way, not a bad looking cat either. I mean, the guy carries himself well. Not just, for multiple reasons. He carries himself well, and he's a great example for the Muslim community. He's a great example for the people of Chicago, and he's a great example for wrestling fans to go, yeah, I like that dude. That's a good, solid dude to like. I like him. And he's also great in the ring. So he's getting screwed. And we're getting screwed because we're not getting great content out of him. Instead, we're getting the Alpha Academy graduation featuring RK Bro. Moving on, Isaac.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a big deal. I agree with some of your points. I disagree with some of your points. The problem of it is you have a great guy who's got a great personality, who could be somewhere doing something, someplace else, and you're holding him to it. And that right there, what really angers me. You let go all these other people, and then you're trying to say, well, we have something for you, but it's only going to take us a few more months till after WrestleMania to get it to even do something with you, if it works out. But you don't. You don't have anything. You don't have anything going.
No.
We know that you don't have anything going. And if you're going to sit him on his behind for months, then let him go. There's no point in doing that. It's a big deal because it's basically saying, well, we own you, but we're just gonna shelve you. There's no point. That's like being in the music industry. If you have a certain person that is doing a certain style, but you just don't, and the executives don't like it, they'll just shelve you. And that's exactly what they're doing. Let him go. Let him go to New Japan. Let him go to another wrestling organization. Let him do something. Let him express what he wants to say, because you're doing no one a favor. You're just basically holding him hostage.
Yeah,
And
in the grand scheme of things, to me, it's a big deal because it's a pattern of behavior from him, and he continues to not be taken seriously by WWE. He's one of a bunch of people that I could rattle off that is criminally underutilized. Despite all of those releases they made, there's still about 6 or 7 or 8 guys, and maybe about 3 or 4 other gals who are still there, that no matter what show they're on, whether they're on Raw or SmackDown or NXT, they get lost in the shuffle. My argument would be, okay, you've let all this talent go. That must free up some time somewhere so that we're not doing comedy skits and we're not doing cross-promotional stuff for Pizza Hut and all this other stuff. Let's get some more wrestlers on the show telling some stories. So for me, it's a big deal. And again, I know I'm approaching it with flawed logic because the people in charge there aren't going to change their stripes anytime soon. So why am I expecting them to?
Exactly. And that's why I said medium deal, because it's kind of one of those things where everything is screwed up, nothing being done about it because management's not going to do anything about it. So it's kind of like you're in a workplace and you've got issues with the way things are done, lower level management, blah, 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 all of these things. And the people at the top know about these issues that you and everybody else are having, and they won't do a damn thing about it. Welcome to WWE, boys and girls. But here's the thing. We will release everybody under God's hot sun when we want to. But if you want a release, F off.
That's basically what it boils down to.
About how hard Wheeler and Harwood had to fight to get their damn release. The Revival had to scratch and claw and beg and pretty much pester the hell out of Stamford, Connecticut to get released. And it was probably one of those Vince McMahon things of like, fine, damn it, just get him out of here.
Yeah.
Isaac.
Now, let me jump in real quick. And I really hope that if you guys can remember this, I really wish we would do something like what Eddie Guerrero did and went to the ring and throw coffee on himself to get himself released.
First off, if you listen to Bischoff's podcast, that was all planned. Bischoff has shot that down. He went, we had that hashed out. But here's the thing. A great idea, but while WCW wasn't paying attention to what the other hand was doing, WWE will. So the minute you try and go off script, by the way, for you podcast audience, I was moving my mouth and no sounds were coming out. So, yeah.
They're just that spiteful.
Oh, clearly. What the hell do you think's happening right now?
Topic number 2.
Numero dos.
We're going to go over to AEW really quick.
Alrighty.
News broke either late last week or early this week before Dynamite that a rather important AEW personality is working without a contract.
We're talking about this.
Yes, we're talking about this. Cody Rhodes came out on Dynamite and cut a pretty nice promo. Not as good as John Moxley's, by the way. Welcome back, sir. We're glad you're feeling great. You look great. You're ready to kick some tail, and we're here for it. Is this a big deal, little deal, no deal that Cody is right now working without a contract? Or is this just to create buzz? Oh, my God, what if he shows up at the Rumble? Oh, my God, what if he shows up in Impact? Oh, my God, what if he goes back over to New Japan? Did I fall for it?
Isaac, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Okay, tag, I'm in. Let me go first. You took the first one, so I'll take this one. Is that okay?
That's why I gave you the right of first refusal.
Thank you. No deal. Look, we know Cody ain't going nowhere. Cody is one of the founders of AEW. Please, he can go without a contract. We know he got signed. He ain't doing this for free. He's doing this for the long haul. He will get it worked out with Tony Khan. And Tony will be like, look, I appreciate what you did. You see what the vision is. You see what the long-term goals is. We got you. Please, we ain't even sitting here worried about if Cody's going to show up on the Rumble. Please, everyone's talking about if Cody's going to show up on the Rumble. Is Jon Moxley going to show up on the Rumble? Punk even, tweeted about it saying, am I in the Rumble? Hell, I might be in the Rumble. If that's going to be the case, I'll go back to WWE. Please. They don't know what they're doing, but please, we all know that Cody Rhodes ain't going.
I'm in the Royal Rumble. I'm Going to be number 7. They already told me I'm coming out at number 7.
Okay, well, I'm anyway. Not the point that I'm trying to make, but here's what I'm saying. That Cody ain't going nowhere. We all know that. That's like saying, oh, yeah, the Young Bucks are going to go to WWE Royal Rumble. Please, get the hell out of Dodge.
All right, Patrick, lay it on me.
Before I answer your question, let me ask you a question. What do you remember what the last thing you said before I asked Isaac if he wanted to go first? Do you remember the last sentence that came out of your mouth? What was it?
Did I fall for it?
Oh,
yeah.
Boy, did you ever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fly Fishing with Cody Rhodes. This is freaking Bassmasters, boys and girls. If there was ever a promotional tactic to get buzz, holy shit balls, Cody Rhodes hit that damn pitch like Jorge Soler's bomb in Game 6 of the World Series in Houston, which still has not landed yet. All this was, oh my God, he confirmed that he doesn't have a contract. Is Cody going to be in the... Shut the hell up. No, he is not going to be in the Rumble. No, the Bucks are not going to be in the Rumble. Yes, Mickie James is going to be in the Rumble because she worked for Impact, and WWE doesn't give two flying shits about Impact. I get to be loud tonight because I'm the only person in the house, and I am loving it. But the fact of the matter is, Vince McMahon is not going to let anybody from AEW come into the freaking Rumble, because here's why. If AEW comes through the Forbidden Door, by the way, Cody in that promo mentioning that he built the Forbidden Door, beautiful.
He's not wrong.
Huh?
He's not
wrong.
Nothing that Cody Rhodes said in that promo was wrong, including you have to have balls to come into AEW and call yourself Brody. I loved that. Because wait until the kid gets here in 8 years. That gave me chills. Moving back to what I was saying. If Vince McMahon allows anyone from AEW to come through the Forbidden Door, they win. It's as simple as that. Vince McMahon allowing them to come on to his second biggest pay-per-view. I'm not calling it the other freaking phrase. Pay-per-view. If he allows them to come on his second biggest pay-per-view of the year, then AEW wins. From now into perpetuity, it's over. Because Vince McMahon is officially flying the white flag. I give up. I need them to make my show. I need them to make the Rumble, for God's sakes. No way in hell does it happen.
And you guys wondered why I wanted to do Big Deal, Little Deal, No Deal today.
Apparently the stars are aligning because, whoop.
Let me jump in here one more second to add on to what Patrick just said, if you don't mind. Now, let's just imagine number 17. Let that be Jericho coming out to Judas at the WWE Royal Rumble. Oh my God. This would kill.
No, do not get it twisted. If you were to hear Judas, or you were to hear wrestling has more than one royal family, the roof on that dome in St. Louis is going to be evaporated. I mean, it's going to be blown into freaking oblivion. But it's not going to happen because it's Vince tapping out.
Yeah. Now, if you asked me, okay, for the record, gentlemen, this is no deal. I know. I wanted to hear what you guys thought about it. I'm trying to create some great content out there. I don't want you to think for 5 seconds that I think there's a shred of a chance. There is a less than 0.001 chance that Cody is going to walk away from what he created or what he had such a big hand in creating. But if you're going to ask me what's more likely, who's more likely to show up at the Rumble of all the people that you have just mentioned, Jericho's the only one, because of the fact that he still, from what I can tell, has a decent business relationship with Vince. You know, they really have never had problems with each other. You know, you read any of Jericho's books from back in the day, and you get that sense. When Jericho's mom passed away, he asked Vince for some time, and Vince gave him the time. You know, and any other number of things. You know, he wanted to pursue the music career. Vince gave him the time, and your spot will be here when you come back. Don't worry about it. The fact that he appeared on Broken Skull Sessions last year with Steve Austin, you're not just going to let anybody do that. It's a conversation starter. It's a buzz generator and all of those things. So it's mutually beneficial for both parties. Relax, boys and girls out there in Wrestling with Egos land. I understand that the likelihood of any of these things happening is slim and none, and Slim's out of town.
So let me ask you a question, and I want an answer from first off. And I didn't really give you my deal answer. I just told you that Brian fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Which means it's no deal.
It's absolutely no deal. So let me ask you guys a question. What is more likely to happen this week, next weekend, during the Rumble? Cody come out and enter the Royal Rumble, or me wearing an Alabama Crimson Tide shirt? What's more likely to happen?
Cody entering the Rumble. You wouldn't be caught dead in an Alabama t-shirt.
Honestly, you know what I think? My honest answer? The likelihood of me wearing Bama gear is more likely. And that will never happen in the deepest, darkest pits of blackest hell. So that's how strongly I feel about Cody and the Rumble. I'll wear Bama gear before that crap happens.
And now that you guys are suitably riled up,
Number 3.
we might as well hit you with number 3. Cue the sad trombone. Because on NXT this week, there was a banger of a main event.
Oh, yeah.
Between Kyle O'Reilly. No, between Roderick Strong, excuse me, sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, it's the Forbidden Door!
He said it!
Kyle's back. He came back.
Oh my God! Wait. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Sorry.
Between Roderick Strong, sorry. That's 10 points from Gryffindor. I'm very sorry. And a guy that I thought, if I wasn't mistaken, I remember him at one time being the Ring General, Walter. So they have a banger of a match. Oh my God, this is a great. There's hope for NXT yet.
Hell yeah!
And they announce the winner, and then Walter grabs the microphone away from the ring announcer and says, the winner of this match is Gunther. And then Jesus wept. I'm going to start on this one.
Go for it. Wait. Allow me to start it for you. Rant mode on.
Yes. WWE, what is your predilection with taking an essentially fully formed creation from NXT and putting your paws all over it? Why did you have to do it to Keith Lee? Why did you have to do it to Walter? These guys put their blood, sweat, and tears into crafting an identity for them. When you called up the Horsewomen, you didn't change Bayley's name. You didn't change Becky Lynch's name. I mean, Charlotte lost the flair eventually because she was good enough to rise above her last name and make a name for herself on her own merits instead of being Rick's son, or Rick's daughter, excuse me.
Oh,
And
two for two, buddy.
oh, we're going for the.
And you didn't change Sasha Banks' name either. So why all of a sudden now is nothing that NXT does good enough for you? Don't tell me it's a Triple H thing. Don't tell me you're trying to burn the countryside of everything that Triple H created. Walter is your longest reigning, and you notice I'm still referring to him as Walter, and there's a reason why. He is your longest reigning champion of any kind in modern day history. 870 days as NXT UK champion. I may be off on the days a little bit, but it's way north of 800.
Oh, yeah.
This man is a matchup nightmare for anybody he gets in the ring with. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got technical ability, and he's got the intimidation factor.
And he's got the chop.
Oh my God, yes.
And you see fit to change his name. And it's not even that you changed his name. It's that you changed it to something as stupid as Gunther. And you were trying to file a trademark on Gunther Stark, which if your crack staff doesn't do any research, I get it. He was a minor figure in Nazi Germany, but he was still associated with Nazi Germany.
Time right there.
Man.
Time right there. I'll let you get back into it. I have to interject right here. This is the same company that did not do their due diligence on the fact that they named Paige, Becky, and Charlotte the submission sorority.
It's like they exist in this adjunct universe where every decision we make is right. Everything's going to be fine. Who cares about the public relations? Who cares about the litmus test? Who cares what this looks like? How about, wow, our job is already done for us. Walter is coming to us as a fully functional and fully formed sports entertainer, grappler, whatever you want to call him. We don't have to do anything. Go for it, Walter. Hey, Walter, here's Finn Balor. Go have some fun. Hey, Walter, here's Big E. Go tell a great story. Hey, Walter, here's Bobby Lashley. Wouldn't that be fun? No, we got to change his name. We got to do all this crap. And I just cannot. I get that some people might say it's not as big of a deal now that they dropped the patent application. That we're not gonna apply for a trademark on this name. You should have never done it in the first place. And this, can't believe I'm about to say this. This might be the straw that breaks the camel's back as Brian vis-a-vis WWE is concerned, because I have watched you take all of my people that I have invested my time in, and you've sold them up the river, metaphorically speaking. Walter is a guy that you better not do this with. You don't have to do anything with him. You just let him go. You don't have to put your paws all over him. You don't have to Bruce Pritchard him. You don't have to John Laurinaitis him. But you're going to, because that's what you do. And I'm sorry, but for about 3 months straight now, I have tuned into Dynamite, and I have found compelling angle after compelling angle after compelling angle. I have had goosebump moments, chill-inducing moments. And WWE is not giving me those. So the ship is sailing. I'm not going to say the ship has sailed. But ladies and gentlemen, we're pulling out of port. So if you want to get on board, now's the time. Rant mode off.
Nicely done. Isaac, may I please? Mine will be very brief.
Yeah, I mean, after you're done, I need to run and get something real quick. You go ahead, keep going. I'll be right back.
Cool. I'll stretch time as needed. Let me further Mr. Krigo's eloquent point along by inciting 3 names: Walter, Keith Lee, Karrion Kross. These are 3 people that came through NXT very, very much established, very much just drag and drop into main roster and then go. All 3 of them had massive, stupid changes at some point in their career when they got a call up. Where right now are Keith Lee and Killer Kross?
Gonzo.
Walter will be gone by SummerSlam.
Probably right.
mark my words. And Brian, I guess I have another theory that I just want to get out since I'm talking about this, and you're not gonna like it. Finn Balor will be gone right after WrestleMania.
I know he will. I wasn't going to bring that up this week because I know we want to get to the SummerSlam deep dive. I was wiping tears away from my eyes when I was reading that article.
Time. We got time, baby.
I read that article about what their role or what they see Finn's role as right now. And it's one thing if he's on board with that. If he's fine with getting Austin Theory over, getting somebody like a Chad Gable over, or getting somebody like Otis over, or getting somebody like Tony D'Angelo, for example. You know, if that's what they want to do for him, or and he's fine with that,
or Gunther McGillivray,
right? Whomever. How can I put this? Yes, I'm a Finn Balor fan. Everybody knows this. This is no giant secret that we haven't seen from people. But just because of that, it's not up to me to project my desires for him onto him. I can't do that. So if he's fine with that role, and if he's thinking, okay, I value my long-term health, and I got a lot of miles on the body and all this kind of stuff, that's fine. But if in his mindset and in the writer's mindset or whatever, he still feels like he has value and he could be in a main event scene, then that's another thing entirely. I still think Vince has not forgiven him for separating his shoulder in 2016 when they said, okay, we're going to put you in this spot against Seth Rollins, and he won the championship but separated his shoulder and had to leave for 9 months and drop the belt. I still think he's trying to work his way back from that.
Which is hilarious because that wasn't his fault.
Right. So it's
we need to.
So
go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean I think we're all in agreement though that the Walter thing is a big deal because it's another example of the inability to resist taking somebody who's established and fully formed and, you know, putting your mitts all over them. And we're gonna do this my way, goddammit, and it's not gonna be anything different.
Isaac, you to go get something. I'm assuming it was related to the conversation.
Okay, yes. As you guys can see, this is a nice little NFL football. This is actually signed by my cousin and another person that was which was the actual #1 draft choice in the NFL draft this year, Trevor Lawrence. So this is basically, yes, this is the WWE. Oh, I just dropped the
And I like
that's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing.
I'd like to point out that one of the signatures on that football may or may not be by 6 degrees of separation employed by AEW.
Basically, yes.
Fair point.
The point that I'm trying to make is that, yes, you dropped the ball. Not just with Walter, not just with Keith Lee. You're about to drop the ball with Finn Balor in a few months. You dropped the ball twice with Samoa Joe. Why bring him back? I'm sick and tired of them just keep dropping the ball. I'm gonna go into a rant mode at another time, but this ain't the time. I'll go into that later. That's all I'm saying. You dropped the football.
I did not want to grow into another rant because I'm like, I really want to talk about SummerSlam, and I don't want this to be a 5-hour-long show.
Like I said, that's all. I'm leaving it at that.
All right.
The director's cut of Wrestling with Egos is.
No, we're not doing a Zack Snyder cut of this damn thing. I hate when our shows run long.
Winner of 17 Oscars. The director's cut for.
Yeah. Welcome to the 6-hour-long episode of the Iggy Awards. Yeah, thank God I wasn't on that show. That thing would have been 10 hours long.
Hey, we kept it to around 90 minutes. We you know.
I know. I'm screwing with you. So let's go ahead and get into what we're all came here to see. SummerSlam 1994. And it is the deep dive. And we are hailing from the United Center, the brand new United Center in Chicago, Illinois, home of your Chicago Bulls. First off, this was a very polarizing pay-per-view, in my opinion. We will get to it, but we talked about it to begin with, that there are some cool things to talk about on this show, and there's some things to make fun of. We're going to do both of those, but let me go ahead.
You want my unpopular opinion now or later?
Say what?
You want my unpopular opinion now or later?
You love the entire thing. I don't know.
Go for it.
This whole show, 2 matches worth a damn.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Hey, Brian, you are clearly, of the three of us, the smartest guy in the room. I think you have a problem with the definition of unpopular.
Well, no. See, here's the thing.
I have a funny before you get into your thing. A half-brained nutless monkey would agree with the fact that this is only a 2-match pay-per-view.
I mean, I've noticed a common theme of all the 3 pay-per-views that we've talked about now, since 2022 has begun. The 2 ones from WCW, Super Brawl, and Clash of Champions, and now this one. I was left wanting so much more after watching all 3 of them. And I think I figured out why when I was prepping for the show tonight. These events fall squarely in the gap in Brian's wrestling consumption. Because let's not forget Brian's origin story, boys and girls. The first event I ever saw was WrestleMania 3. And then after that, I didn't watch for a long time because reasons. And it wasn't until the Attitude Era was in full swing, 98, 99, that I got back into it. So I find myself wanting, whenever I watch anything from that gap, that like 9-year, 8-year gap. And this was the case with this one, with this match, with this 2. I'll just give you some general thoughts about the whole thing. WWE is in bigger arenas than WCW is. So it's got a bigger, grandiose feel. They got more cameras. They're better camera work, like sweeping down from the ceiling and all that kind of stuff. And I was happy to see Macho come out and get the big introduction. He was still clearly over with the fans at this point. And then the wrestling started. Or lack thereof. And I'm just like, oh, come on. And I will tell you now, there were 2 matches I did not watch. They came up. I'm like, I can skip this because I know what I'm going to see. I skipped Tatanka and Lex Luger, and I skipped Mabel and Jeff Jarrett. So if you're looking for deep thoughts about those 2 matches, I'm sorry you came to the wrong place.
I'll go in.
So I'm done pontificating. Isaac, go.
I'll cover for you in those 2 matches. I got a lot of detail, more than I normally have in the past. So
sweet.
I got you covered. I got you.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get down to it. We are in the brand new United Center. The paid attendance, the attendance for the show was 23,300. The pay-per-view got a buy rate of 300,000 buys, which is pretty damn nice for 1994. Keep in mind, this is still a down period for professional wrestling. We're about 2-3 more years away from the massive upswing that we're all about to get into. By the way, our next deep dive is right smack dab in the middle of said upswing. Either way we go, I'm going to give these guys a choice at the end of the show tonight, and we're going to see where we go. But yeah, this whole
Fully loaded 98. Anyone? Just kidding.
No.
Okay.
No. I'll give you a hint. Either way we go, we're watching something that happened on a Monday night.
Okay.
So that's your only hint. This entire pay-per-view is built on 3 things. Number 1, well, actually 2 things and a kind of thing. Number 1, Taker versus Taker. 2, Bret and Owen in the cage. 3, Razor and Diesel with Walter Payton in Diesel's corner. Walter Payton. That's kind of a small thing.
Walter Payton was in Razor's corner.
No. Let's refer to Walter Payton as what he is. He is a big thing, and he's an NFL Hall of Famer all time. Boom.
Hey, well, hang on. We're talking about an NFL Hall of Famer in WWE.
Yes.
I mean, there's big, there's big deal, and then there's big deal outside of, well, big deal in somebody else's bubble. I mean, there's a lot of things can be said about that. I'm over here doing the T-Rex arms because I don't have any idea what I really wanted to say. But for the most part, this show was an outright turd, in my opinion. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
All right.
That's a good way of if we're bottom lining it.
This show was a turd. The 2 matches in question were absolutely phenomenal. Well, one of these matches in question was absolutely phenomenal. The other one had a whole lot of presentation to it, which that was badass. And you had a little bit of a funny ha-ha, chuckle with the backstage vignettes with Leslie Nielsen doing the whole Naked Gun thing, which I'm sorry, I'm here for that. I love it. Isaac, you're over here pantomiming suicide. You didn't like it?
Oh my God. I look back at it now like this is so cheesy.
No shit.
Like I just couldn't do it.
Did you know you're wearing a Captain America shirt?
Oh yeah.
Did you know that the Braves won the World Series championship? Did you know that Alabama freaking lost? Hi, RJ.
Hey, RJ, what's up?
Freaking duh. We all know. Yeah, hell yes, this was cheesy, and I loved it. There was a great philosopher, and Brian's going to hate me when I start this. I'm going to watch his reaction. There was a great philosopher that once said famously that it ain't easy being cheesy. There's the eye roll. I win. But yeah, this pay-per-view was cheesy as hell because it was 1994. And there were some just turd matches here. So let me ask you guys a question. So we have a total of 7 matches on this card. Without looking at your computers, in case you might have cheat sheets or any notes, how many of these matches went more than 15 minutes? Don't look.
I didn't count. I wrote down notes, but I did not count the time on it. So I'm good.
Only 1 match went over 15 minutes. 2 matches went over 10. Just kind of just give you the card and I'm going to break down the card real quick and give you times of matches, and then we'll get into these god awful matches and make fun of them. Bam Bam Bigelow and IRS beat the Head Shrinkers in 6:45. Alundra Blaze beat Bull Nakano in 8 minutes and 10 seconds to retain the WWF Women's Championship, which she is about to throw in the garbage on Nitro. Razor beat Diesel for the Intercontinental title in 13:55. Tatanka beat Lex Luger in 6 minutes flat. Jeff Jarrett beat Mabel in 5:45. Bret beat Owen in the cage to retain the title in 32 minutes and 17 seconds. And then the real Undertaker beat the fake Undertaker in 8 minutes and 57 seconds. We literally had one match that lasted longer than the time it would take you to leave your seat, go into the concourse, pee, and come back.
It's amazing.
Depending on the line, you might have been able to catch the finish of Razor and Diesel. And if you went before the fake Undertaker's entrance, you might have gotten back in time to see the real Undertaker finish his entrance. My God in heaven, I thought Roman Reigns ain't got squat on that one. Anyway, moving on. Let's get to it. So let me ask you a question, because we can take these matches one by one and rip them apart. I really don't want to do that, and I want to focus on the fun stuff. But I will ask you guys a couple of questions. That way you can get your shots fired in, because I know Isaac took a crap load of notes, and I know he's probably got some bombs that he wants to throw. So Isaac, if you have an opportunity to squeeze in a bomb that I'm not setting you up for,
Okay.
please take said opportunity. I want you to get all your shit in tonight. Because the fact that you're like, hey, I did a lot more research than I normally do, I want you to get all your shit in, pal. So, of these matches, excluding Taker, Hart, Razor Diesel, of these matches, what was the worst thing you saw? Or of the rest of the show, what was the worst thing you saw?
Oh, God.
My God, that's a loaded question.
That's Luger versus Tatanka.
Yeah.
Why? If you think about this, and I think this is the first time I've ever seen this actually happen. Luger did a small package on Tatanka to try and win for the win, knowing that his name is the Total Package Lex Luger. And I thought that was very interesting that he actually does small package, because he never does that. Ever. Very unusual. But, it was...
At the same time, the match was hot garbage, because that's when you realize at this point...
Isaac over here complaining about how cheesy Leslie Nielsen is, and what does he do? He makes a package joke.
Yeah.
I can't give you a pass on that one, big man.
I'm all for it.
Look, we'll talk about packages all the time, but let's not go there.
Ew.
Moving on. For me, the one thing that I was like, oh my God, this is terrible, was watching Bam Bam and IRS versus the Head Shrinkers and them slogging through that match. It was 6 minutes and 45 seconds that felt like an eternity, because that match was just bad. No redeeming qualities. IRS and Bam Bam looked like they had no idea what they were doing as a tag team. And honestly and truly, I think the SST, the Samoan SWAT team, the Head Shrinkers, Samu Fatu, Samu and Rikishi, whatever you want to call them, I think they had already checked the hell out. Because just a couple of nights before this, they dropped the tag team titles to Shawn and Diesel. I honestly think
The night before, actually.
They had checked out, and they were officially in IDGAF mode.
For me, the worst thing I saw, Mabel and Jeff Jarrett, was, just the fact that we're trying to get either one of them over. I don't have an opinion about Mabel either way, but Jeff Jarrett is somebody that, he's another one that, unfortunately, I never really got behind. I never really got it. Like, why are we trying to push him? He's got a brilliant wrestling mind. I know that. I mean, I'll give him credit for that. But at the time, it was just unwatchable. The only thing that I'll say about the tag match to start the night off, in my notes, I have the legacy of the match. Because you got a guy who eventually becomes Rikishi, and he gives us the Usos.
Right.
You've got Roman Reigns' uncle came out with him. One of the
I thought Alpha was his dad.
Alpha's his dad. Sorry about that.
Sika.
And then you've got Mike Rotunda as IRS, who is
Bo Dallas
and Bray Wyatt. So that's I thought at the beginning of the match, that's what I was telling. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Look at all the legacy we've got in this match. And then I looked at the match and I'm like, oh, this is kind of, But so for that reason, like all of the lineage that you have from just that one match, I thought that was very cool.
1 sec, I'm looking.
Patrick on that Ancestry.com.
Pretty much. 1 second. I'm looking. Oh, Isaac was right. Sika is Roman's dad.
Okay, so I mean, but you've got that lineage represented there. So I thought that part of it was cool, just to be like all these guys in this match. Fast forward 25 years, and we're going to be seeing a lot of these, offspring.
Yeah, we are. But this match was absolutely freaking dreadful.
Yes.
Of these matches, I mean, so let me find the page again. Let's see. Dave Meltzer didn't even give this match a rating. He didn't. Yeah, the tag match he didn't even give a rating. He gave Razor and Diesel 2 3/4. He gave Tatanka and Lex 2 stars. He gave Jarrett and Mabel 3/4 of a star.
Shouldn't have got anything.
And he gave Taker and Taker 1 negative star.
What did he give Bull Nakano and Alundra Blaze?
Oh, that's a very good question. 3 1/4. And
Richly deserved.
Oh, that match was good.
I was going to talk about that. That's the second match of the two. When I put my 2 fingers up before.
Yeah.
That's the second match that I thought, wow, this, because it was, I don't know what I was expecting from it, because I was trying to think back to when I was watching as a kid, like what the women would do, and I remember Moolah, like when Moolah was around, she would get in there and mix it up. It wasn't just rest holds and stuff like that. Yeah, there was shenanigans,
right?
But there was moves, and Alundra and Bull, you could tell they were trying to wrestle a match. They were doing the drop kicks and the cross bodies and all that stuff.
You got a legitimate wrestling match out of those 2 women. Bull Nakano was a Japanese wrestling god. Amazing. Did you know that Bull Nakano almost, after she retired from wrestling, Bull Nakano almost qualified for the LPGA Tour?
Really?
I kid you not. I looked this up while I was doing research earlier this week, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Which means that as a golfer, she could whip all of our asses.
Probably.
Bull was an amazing wrestler. Anyone that has watched American wrestling and American women's wrestling over the last 20 to 30 years knows that Alundra Blaze, Medusa, whatever you want to call her, in the ring was a freaking badass. And that match proved it wholeheartedly. You saw everything that both of those women could do. You saw Nakano's power. You saw the fact that even though she was a larger woman, she could freaking move.
Yeah, she could.
And you saw the technical doctorate of Medusa. Medusa could have easily, even though obviously this moniker went to someone else who deservedly earned it because of his technical ability in the ring, Medusa could have ended up being one of 2 monikers in wrestling. She could have either been, with apologies to Serena Deeb, the woman of 1,000 holds, or, with apologies to Taz, could have been the human suplex machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that legitimately bad.
And this is low-hanging fruit, but I'll pluck it anyway. In hindsight, I wish I would have watched this match on mute.
Oh God!
Because Jerry the King Lawler still cannot help himself.
No.
He is programmed a certain way, and 90% of his commentary in this match was taking cheap shots at Alundra Blaze's face and Bull Nakano's hair, and nothing remotely having to do with what they were doing in the ring. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, King.
RJ once referred to Jim Ross as overrated. Jerry Lawler is probably one of the worst things that ever happened to wrestling commentary. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, my God in heaven, we've had some bad color commentators in the history of wrestling, especially in WWE. But Lawler, one of the worst. And honestly and truly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we're in 1994 right now. Lawler is about to get worse, if you can actually believe that.
Because of who's coming down the line.
We are 2 to 3 years away from the word puppies coming out of that some bitch's mouth every 35 seconds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you expect? It's Jerry Lawler. The only thing he did right was in Memphis. And that's because he was booking himself to go over more than Von Erich. By the way, he also went over Von Erich. I'd like to point that out. So let's stay on Medusa, and I'm sorry, I can't call her Alundra Blaze. She's Medusa. She was Medusa in the AWA. She was Medusa in WCW. F Alundra Blaze. Medusa and Bull Nakano. Let's stay on that because what a great match. Anything stand out to you guys that was just like, yeah, I like that?
It was 8 minutes of action.
I was pissed when I saw that it was 8 minutes. I'm like, that match seemed like it was just that match. They packed so much into that 8 minutes. I thought it had gone longer. And when I saw that it was only 8 minutes, I'm like, that was bullshit. Why didn't you give them more?
And there was storytelling involved. It was basically Medusa taking a pounding for the first probably 6.5 minutes of the match.
Yep.
Being overpowered by Bull Nakano. And then just finding that one hope spot, to roll away from, I think it was either a splash or a moonsault or something.
Leg drop
that Bull tried to hit off the top rope. And when the match ended, I thought, wow, this is, I don't know how anomalous this was, but high profile event. Women are given time to do their thing. And I know 8 minutes, it's 4 times the length of any match we're talking about now, pretty much.
Right.
Unless it's at a blow-off show or something like that. So in my mind, I mean, that's why I was so into this match, was because they were given time to tell a story, and it was a convincing story. I actually thought Bull was going to win the title at one point.
She had already won it. And this, if I'm not mistaken, this was the 3rd match in a series.
Okay.
The first match, Bull won and won the women's title. Alundra won it back, and then this was the rubber match.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken,
Because I had no idea of the lineage.
Isaac, I know you got notes. I know you got bombs. Get some shit, Al.
Here we go. Now, I was sitting here watching the match. Yes, everything that you guys said was on point. Now, there's a couple things that I noticed that you guys may not have noticed. Now, one of the times was that Bull Nakano had Medusa, aka Alundra Blaze, whatever you want to call her. I think it was almost in like a Boston Crab, and she was very close to the ropes. Now, normally, they wait for a 5 count or whatever, but they botched it just a second because Bull let her out of this thing before Alundra even grabbed the ropes. Now, I don't know if you go back and watch it, it's just a little minor detail that I just happened to notice. Like, wait, she let her out before she even grabbed the ropes, and no one got this.
The timing was off a little.
Oh, the timing was way off.
Now that you mention, I do remember seeing that.
I do, because I'm literally watching. Well, I just finished watching that match because I've got it on right now. I'm literally just starting.
Because when I was watching it, the way Blaze was contorted, I thought she's tapping. Because she had a Boston Crab and something else, if I'm not mistaken.
I know what that was. Isaac, did you pay attention to the other submission hold that Bull locked in?
I did not.
Didn't AJ Lee do that?
Paige,
that's right. Yeah.
It was a scorpion cross lock.
Right, and I thought, oh, she's tapping. I mean, I saw her like,
yeah,
her muscles up here. I'm like, they're gonna pop out here in a minute.
I picked that up a minute ago. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the PTO. Shit. I'll never forget the first time I saw Paige lock that on. I think it was the first time she did it was on Alicia Fox. And I'm like, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, no joke.
So yeah, I completely forgot how agile Bull Nakano was for her size and what she could do. And also shout out to Alundra Blaze, aka Medusa, whatever we're calling her, because they both put in some work. So I just want to mention that.
Tells me to call her.
Well, I'll call her anything.
Whatever she says to call her, yes, ma'am.
We're calling her.
Yes, ma'am. Please don't beat me up.
Yeah, whatever she's feeling like, that's all I'm saying about that. So, yeah, that's all I got for that match.
Let's talk. Do you guys want to talk Razor and Diesel?
The one word I have down for this match is plotting. And I was not expecting this to be a plotting match.
I agree.
I thought Scott Hall and Kevin Nash had chemistry to spare. Or had they not really developed it yet? Are they still feeling each other out by this point?
Yes and no. They had developed chemistry because they had wrestled plenty of times before, not just in WWE and WCW to begin with when they were the Diamond Stud in Vinny Vegas or Oz or Master Blaster. But here's something else to consider. What's going to happen in about a year?
Diesel's going to win the title from Bob Backlund? No. I have my timeline wrong.
That is going to happen here in a couple of months.
Okay. So if I think in 95, it's Good Friends, Better Enemies, isn't it?
That's right after WrestleMania. And then...
Right. Yeah, he's going to leave again.
By this time next year...
Right.
It's going to be just 2... Y'all know.
Yeah, we're not gonna ping the decibel meter on that one. Thank you for not doing that, guys. I appreciate it. Wait, no, this is 94. 96 is when the NWO.
So then I think I'm right. The 95 is when Diesel and Shawn, because they tease it here because Shawn super kicks Diesel in the face to bring up about the finish. And Diesel's yelling at Shawn, "Hey, come back here!" As Shawn retreats up the ramp. So I wonder if this teases them going at it. I feel like that's 95.
We're getting there because I literally just looked at the 95 SummerSlam. Your main event is Diesel as world champion beating Mabel, and your undercard is Shawn and Razor Intercontinental title ladder match.
Okay.
Was that the second one?
Ladder match. Well, the 2-belt ladder match, not WrestleMania 10.
Okay. Got it.
Gotcha.
So this would be their second ladder match.
The one that Shawn won.
Right.
Got it.
Because Razor won it. Razor won at 10. Shawn was coming back as a babyface on this one.
Right, and I remember Shawn coming underneath the underneath the ladder in that one.
Right, yeah, because the ladder match at SummerSlam 95 was babyface, and nobody gave a damn. And nobody gave a damn that it was babyface. It was just shut up and take my money.
Yes.
Pretty much.
So that's what you. Oh, and by the way, SummerSlam 95, We also got Barry Horowitz beating Skip, by the way. Just, hey, we're not out of the woods yet, boys and girls. We're still doing crappy shit in 95.
Did you guys notice, I think it was during the Tatanka Luger match, and I forget what they called him, but this was when the baseball strike was going on.
Uh-huh.
So you had the idiot coming down the stairs with his face painted like a baseball. Abe
Schwartz.
Yes, Abe Schwartz the third or junior or whatever.
Abe Knuckleball Schwartz.
Yeah.
I saw notes on my computer a little while ago.
I'm like, oh, for crying out loud, guys.
Well, think about it. Earlier in the year, or at some point, I think it might have been Survivor Series of this year. At some point, they have a baseball referee doing a match on a WWF pay-per-view. And it was during an Undertaker match, and the ref had talked backstage that he wanted to chest bump the Undertaker because that was his thing. And Undertaker tells Bruce Pritchard, if he bumps me, I'm going to kill him. I am the way watching that, listening to that Undertaker megasode on Bruce Pritchard's podcast, that 10-hour long deal. I'm up to 1997.
That sounds like a Cowboy Joe West thing. It probably wasn't him, but
no. I would know if it was Fat Ass Joe West. By the way, if it was Fat Ass Joe West, the match would have lasted 5 hours, much like any baseball game that fat turd ever called from behind home plate.
Sorry I brought him up.
Thank you, God, that he's retired. Now, if we can just get rid of Sam Holbrook and Angel Hernandez, baseball might be a little bit better.
We can only pray that that happens, but I'm just saying.
Moving on. Isaac, I'm going to just kind of open it up to you. You got any more bombs you want to drop? Because quite honestly, and I'm kind of trying to read Brian here, I kind of think we want to get to the good stuff. The last 2 matches of the night. You got any more bombs?
Well,
Bean?
Go.
You take away the pomp and circumstance of Undertaker versus Underfaker, and you've got Jack.
Oh, I know.
So we don't need to spend a whole lot of time on that, I don't think.
No, we're going to spend time on the pomp and circumstance. That's about it.
Fine, okay, because I mean, just I'll speak my piece about that one really quick. I never realized this as it happened, but anytime you saw Brian Lee, who was Underfaker, they had the camera angle like this, so that all you saw was like his chin and the hair coming down, and because you didn't want to, like, if you shot him straight on, you would know, brother, there's no way this is Mark Calloway.
Right.
You know. So, I mean, just the recap of all the wrestling challenges or the wrestling superstars,
right,
week by week or whatever, and
there are
god awful.
There are reasons I want to talk about the pomp and circumstance of this. Because believe it or not, I think the pomp and circumstance of that match is extremely important to the history of The Undertaker. We'll get to it in a minute. Is there anything else we as a group collectively want to discuss other than Bret Owen, Taker? Is there anything else?
I have nothing else.
The only other thing I could keep thinking of was how poorly, this is one of the big 4. Really, you're gonna have Jeff Jarrett versus Mabel, and I'm like, they don't mix, they don't match. There's no reason for these two to be having this match, especially one of the big 4 that they have during the year. Now, I understand that we didn't have a pay-per-view every single month, especially back in '94. But seriously, the best
we had in your houses.
But the best that you could do at one of the big 4 was Mabel versus Jeff Jarrett.
This is actually where I started drawing some parallels between what WCW was doing and what WWE was doing. Both rosters had their problems.
Yes.
You had you had your top tier guys. You know, in WCW, you had Ric Flair, and you had Sting, and you had, you know, the Horsemen, and you had, I'm sure I'm forgetting some people, Barry Windham, and, you know, Magnum TA at the beginning and stuff like that. And then you had all the people that you were hoping would turn into something, you know, and you just had your enhancement talent. WWF, you can make those same comparisons. You can put Taker, Bret, Owen, Shawn, Diesel up at the top, you know, Razor, and then you got the people you're hoping, like we hope Jeff Jarrett's going to catch fire. Man, we got big plans for Mabel and stuff like that, and it's just like,
Exactly.
you know, and so it's obvious where the filler is, and it's obvious where the hope is, you know, and that's my big takeaway from this card is, you know, it was 2.5 hours of not a whole lot.
And 2.5 hours of way too much emphasis on Ted DiBiase's $1 million corporation.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's one more point I want to advance. I feel like WWE specifically was stuck. You know, we talk about how they're stuck now and they keep wanting to bring people back. Lou Albano, Ted DiBiase, and I'm sure there's some other figures I'm forgetting about, but those 80s holdovers are still trying to be relevant and, you know, grasping at relevancy and stuff like that. And it's the same thing.
I can understand the DiBiase thing because he turned into a very serviceable manager. When I saw the Head Shrinkers come out with Captain Lou Albano and Alpha, I was like, what in the blue hell is this? I can understand Alpha, but Albano? Look, I know Albano managed the Wild Samoans, but what the deuce? It's kind of like when Yokozuna was being managed by Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette.
Sure. I mean, we got to get those appearance fees.
Yeah. One of these things is not like the other.
Oh my God.
Here we go again.
Well, anyway, do anything else, because I want to get into like el good stuff.
No, I'm good.
All
Let's
right.
go stuff.
Well, let's go ahead and skip to what they call the main event. And there's a reason why, because we're going to end on a high note. Major high note. Taker versus Taker. This match, when the everything that we're about to talk about, when we're done, I want you guys listening and watching to utter the phrase, and then the bell rang. Because once the bell rang, this was a festering turd. And not even the greatness of Mark Calloway could make this not a festering turd. And this is the reason I wanted to bring this up, because I loved the theatricality in this. Because this was, in my opinion, when The Undertaker was truly made The Undertaker. When The Undertaker legit became the, like, holy shit, it's The Undertaker. You know, when he became more than just a wrestler, he became that myth, that
otherworldly.
Yes, thank you. And this was it. Everything about the real Undertaker's entrance, to me, resonated and continued throughout the rest of his career. Because this was the first big entrance that he ever had. Yeah, he had the entrance at Wembley when he came out on the back of the hearse. That was badass. He had the entrance at WrestleMania 9 when he came out on the back of the chariot with the vulture on there. That was badass. This one took the freaking cake. And
this was the first time that he was reincarnated. Like, this was the first time he went away for a while, and they sold it as he's been resurrected.
Right. But this was also the first, like, over the top entrance that the Undertaker got, which we became very accustomed to seeing at WrestleManias. Because every year the WrestleMania entrance of Taker was something to watch. I cannot tell you how many times Isaac and I have sat in Brian's living room watching this without saying a word, and then looking at each other like, okay, where does this rank? Where are we putting this one? Is this one above this Mania? Is this one here? Isaac was that gangster, that kind of deal. Isaac, what you got?
I would also sit here and say, we'd also be like, yo, that was badass. Because some of the entrances just on WrestleMania, just for The Undertaker, even though they took 25 minutes for him to get inside the ring, they were still badass.
I don't care if it took 20 minutes. It was badass. Look, I make fun of Roman Reigns' entrance, but it takes 9.5 minutes. But you know what? It is filled with so much effing swagger. I don't give a damn. Because I'm like, okay, that is just Roman Reigns going, yeah, suck it. Pretty much. But here's where I'm getting at with Taker. One, you had the old Undertaker come out with old Undertaker music, right? This was the very first time the Undertaker came out with a very familiar piece, a part of his music that orchestral, like violin kind of deal, other than just dun 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 dun. You had that, and I'm not gonna try and sing it because I'm gonna spare you all. But you know what? You guys know what part I'm talking about? That kind of that that bridge to get you back to dun 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 dun, to get you back to the funeral march part of his song. That was the first time you heard that, and you would hear that in every piece that he had that wasn't just straight up rock. When they went away from that, when it became like, rock music Taker. But when it, but we got back into it at WrestleMania 20, and we stayed there, and it was always there. The Druids coming out with the casket, cool. Paul Bearer pulling that urn out, and then the sound effects and the light and the thunder as he's got the big spotlight coming out of the urn. I was like, that's just freaking cool. Because we look at it now and go, yeah, there's been like 1,000 entrances that Taker's done that beat that. But kind of like how we talk about without the Horseman, there wouldn't be this. Without this, there wouldn't be this. Without that entrance, we don't get anything else that we've ever seen from The Undertaker. But this became like, this was the OG of badass Undertaker entrances. And then the bell rang. Somebody else go. Your thoughts?
I sat through all that, and I'm like, okay, we're going to get... And then I remembered the dumpster fire that this match actually was. Because Brian Lee was not prepared for that moment.
Brian, let me help you edit that sentence. Brian Lee wasn't prepared, period.
True. But we're talking about this event here. I mean, it was just the point of diminishing returns. Every minute that went on with this match was just like, oh my God, is it over yet? Is it over yet? Okay, now it's over. And it was ending this event with a whimper, in my opinion.
Yeah, Ellie, I agree. I agree. Yeah. You ended it with another one of the Naked Gun deals where the case was closed. I would have liked to have that a little bit, maybe before the match and end it with the Undertaker. But the entire end of the pay-per-view was a convoluted cluster F. I'm trying to watch the F words on the show tonight. I think I've done. I think I'm down to 0 so far tonight. I'm gonna like to keep it that way. Because we're an hour and 16 in, an hour and change in, and I'm done pretty good. So good job, Patrick. But we get the end of the match. Pallbearers got Undertaker out of the ring. They're coming up the ramp. Let's cut to Macho Man. Oh, wait, we've got something else. Let's go to Macho Man. Hey, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Blah, blah, blah. Wait, we've got something else. Let's go backstage. Leslie Nielsen. What? Talk about just, this is like that, and that video that's going viral right now, because a lot of places in the East Coast, and especially up in the Northeast and Midwest like us, have got a crap load of snow Sunday night into Monday, and for some of you even Tuesday. There's a video going around right now where there is a reporter doing a stand-up at a street corner filled with snow and ice and everything else, and somebody loses control of their car and hits her. And the in-studio anchor talking head is just like,
I saw that.
not like, hey, are you okay? Hey, what the deuce happened? It's just like, it's like
transfixed.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands. And that's what the end of this felt like. And so I disagree with you, Brian, that it went out with a whimper. It more like went out with a fart.
Sure, that's fine.
For me, a whimper would be just, it just went out softly. It went out without fanfare, without anything. It just
this was somebody slamming the cover of the piano down in your fingers while you're trying to play Beethoven.
Yes, great, much better than it went out with a fart. I like that.
I would have said that it was like the theme from Debbie Downer. Wah, 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 because that's what it was.
Anybody got anything else they want to add to anything else that happened before the bell?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Let's get to the entree, please.
I say what?
Let's get to the entree, please.
Yeah.
Waiter, can I have some more napkins? Thank you very much.
Yes. And you might. Hey, we're going into about 3 more pitchers of water because we all 3 of us are about to get thirsty on this one. This was a great match. I read it wrong when I was telling you guys about star ratings. The star rating I was looking at was not Dave Meltzer's. Dave Meltzer gave the match that we're about to talk about 5. He gave it 5 stars, and deservingly so.
I'm going to get the negative stuff out of the way first. I think the only thing that Bret and Owen weren't good at, promos.
Oh, God.
Neither one of them.
Them were atrocious. First off, there is not a single member of the Hart family that was good. Jim, the Anvil was pretty good.
Hey, you put some respect on Bruce Hart's name.
Where are my keys?
Wait. Let's what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, moving on. Next.
Yeah, no, they're god awful at promos.
Because after a while, I fast forwarded through the promo package.
I could have also done without the shenaniganery of the Bulldog and Bulldog's wife getting run over or trampled on by Anvil. I could have done without all of that. Just, I understand getting Anvil involved because Anvil and Owen are now going to be a package, and that's kind of what's going to lead to sticking it to Bret for the next year, and it worked. But having Davey Boy and Diana both involved, and Diana just having to take a bump and then lay there at ringside, stupid as hell.
Yes, I could have done without that.
So you get to, and then the bell rang, but this time the bell in question ends the match. And then that's when the stupid stuff happened. This match, my God. We have always talked about the fact that Bret Hart is one of the best technical wrestlers to ever step foot in the ring. I've always believed this in my heart of hearts, no pun intended. But in this match, it proved it. Bret is Owen's bitch.
Yeah, I mean, this was also the best example of people using that blue cage.
Oh,
It's the best blue cage, steel cage match I've ever seen.
yeah. I'll agree. First off, aesthetically, give me that cage instead of the chain link fence cage. Give me that. To me, it looks better.
And correct me if I'm wrong, this one probably hurts more too.
Probably.
Because there's less surface area to absorb all your, your spots and stuff.
So the chain link bounces.
Yeah.
As we saw with the Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a technical masterpiece. I mean, and I'm not saying anything that the real ones don't already know about this match. I mean, it's when people talk about Owen's best matches, Bret's best matches, this better be one of the first matches out of your mouth.
First off, this match is the only way you could have gotten Bret and Owen from WrestleMania 10 better. This is the only way you could have topped Bret Owen from 10.
Agreed.
This match was just absolutely master class. My favorite part of this match, and trust me, there are plenty of great moments in this match, but my favorite part of the match is when they're both standing on the top rope. Bret falls, Owen falls, straddles himself on the top rope. They're both laying there. And then Bret starts to crawl for the cage. And then Owen grabs onto him. And it's the pull, it's the tug of war. Oh, Bret hanging half out of the cage. And then Bret rolls back into the ring into a full mount and just starts raining bombs down on Owen's head. I was like, no,
where did that gear come from?
Yeah, I was like, that was sweet. That was a very MMA transition before MMA was really MMA. But you got that, you got a superplex. So many things in this match looked like it hurt.
Yes.
So many things in this match looked like it was just computer engineered of how crisp it was and how flawless it was.
Some of the things looked like they shouldn't have been physically possible too.
Right.
Some of the only thing that you can sit here and say is, okay, guys, this is the dungeon at its best. Try to top it. And you can't do it because these two are doing the damn thing. Sorry. Right. But they were just killing the game. You were sitting here like, wow, this is a masterclass.
Can we talk about one thing that I watched in this match that just made me long for days going by? One move that Owen hit Bret with that made me just kind of reminisce to when wrestling was a little cooler. That pile driver.
Oh, wow.
He's got Bret up. And the way he was holding him, I'm like, okay, he's just going to fall to his ass. Nope. Jump. Bam. I was like, that was purdy.
Yeah.
It was purdy.
Here's the question. I have a two-part question for both of you about this match. Since I'm a little hazy on the timeline, we've already established this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this their final encounter of note, or did they have more?
I think this was it.
Okay. Then, if you were on the writing team at this point, and Vince or whomever comes to you and says, we need one more Bret versus Owen match, what stipulation would you put on it? Oh, 2 out of 3. Yeah. Okay.
Unless there's a championship. No. You don't do a ladder match with that. You give me 2 out of 3. You either one of two things. You either give me 2 out of 3, or you give me 60 minutes. You give me an Iron Man match.
Those two in an Iron Man match.
You give me one of those two. You don't give me a gimmick. You don't give me a cage. You don't give me Hell in the Cell. You don't give me a ladder. You don't give me anything. Give me 2 out of 3, or you give me an Iron Man match. We've already done one. It was awesome. Wait, no, we have not done one yet. We have not gotten to Bret. We have not gotten to Bret Shawn.
Not yet.
No, this is.
Geez, imagine if they were the first. What a story they would have told.
Yeah, we're just past WrestleMania 10, so we've got a little ways to go.
3 years after that was Shawn versus Bret.
2. That was at 12.
Yeah, it was at 12.
I'm sorry. That was 13 was Diesel versus Undertaker. My bad.
Yeah.
Title match was Taker Sid when Taker won the title for the second time.
Yeah.
The first real time.
Because I was going to say a last man standing, but you're right. I mean, a 2 out of 3 with their in-ring artistry and their storytelling, you don't want to waste that on a last man standing. You want pain and suffering. You want 2 out of 3 falls, or you want an Iron Man match.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
The problem with it is those two had such conditioning. A falls count anywhere match wouldn't have mattered because they would have got up. They had such great conditioning, especially both of those two, with their background, with their history, with their family. They could have gone 2 hours.
That's the thing about Owen. He never seemed gassed. At any time, no matter the opponent, you'd be interviewed afterwards, and he'd be raring to go another 30 minutes with somebody. I mean, but that's what the dungeon does for you. When you train with Stu, you're going to have endurance, you're going to have conditioning, you're going to have stamina.
You're going to go forever. I
completely agree. So, gentlemen, anything else you want to add to this?
I mean, I can't believe. Well, I mean, I guess I can, because if we start pulling cards out from all these events around this time, these promotions had to build a card off of 1 or 2 matches. It wasn't like every match was a home run, and I have to keep telling myself that. But I still, I mean, I turned the event off after a while, earlier in the week, and I looked at my notes, and I'm like, this was a freaking 2-match show.
Yeah.
So I've changed my mind a little bit on what I wanted to do. I'm going to give you guys a choice on something in terms of Monday, in terms of a Monday night deal, because I wanted to give you guys the height of the Monday Night War. What I was going to do was tell you that this was WWE and that this one was WCW. And I've written a Monday night show and a date and an event.
Look at how crisply those index cards are cut, boys and girls. I mean, we don't mess around in wrestling with egos.
It's the paper that I folded.
Oh. I was trying to put you over.
No, I'm just saying, well, continue to put me over because I am kind of obsessed with symmetry. So when I fold things, I like to fold it correctly. So
just go with it, boys and girls. Those are some crisply cut index cards that we can't see the backs of. And man.
Oh, no, they're folded on the inside. You're written.
No.
Anyway, moving right along. What I wanted, so that's what I initially wanted. I know I missed the point. What I wanted to do was I wanted to say, 2 major timeline events happened, and I think, they both happened in the same year. I just wanted to make sure I had it right. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna go ahead and do it. And if you guys decided you want to do the other one after we've picked, we can negotiate. WWE, WCW. What's your vote? I'll give you a hint. The year will be 1998.
I'm going to vote for WCW only because that's the one I feel like I don't know intimately. And I feel like I should be trying to,
Isaac?
WCW.
WCW.
Because I was going to say, as the third man in the room, will have the tie-breaking vote. So your WWE one March 30th, 1998, and it's the very first time that Austin stuns Vince.
In Madison Square Garden.
But instead of March of 98, we're going to go to July of 1998. July 6th, to be exact. On Monday Nitro, the highest rated Nitro in history. Atlanta, Georgia.
That was Goldberg versus Hogan. It was Goldberg versus Hogan.
July 6, 1998. Hogan Goldberg.
Is this the one? Is this the one that the finish didn't get aired?
No.
No. That was at a pay-per-view. That was
Halloween Havoc of 98 because Goldberg was defending against DDP. No, the finish happens.
Oh God, it happened.
Told you my timeline's foggy. I'm glad I picked this one.
Yeah,
it'll clear some things up.
Spoiler: Goldberg wins. It's for the title. Hogan defending against Goldberg. They literally announce it the Thursday beforehand on Thunder.
JJ said he's contractually obligated to defend his title on this Monday, and it's going to be against Bill Goldberg. And, of course, everyone's still here. I'm not going to go into anymore. I'll let go.
I will say this. Doing research on this and knowing what happens with this show, after Thursday, after this announcement, they sold another 35,000 tickets.
Because this was in the Georgia Dome, right?
Very much so.
Yep.
Very much so. I cannot wait to talk about this. This is one of the biggest moments in the history of professional wrestling, and we're going to talk about it after we talk about the Rumble next week.
And you know me, being me and being Arch, I'm going to find some minor event in the first hour of Nitro to try to put over.
There will be plenty, because trust me, this show ain't perfect. The end is pretty much perfect. But the rest of the show, there's bound to be something. So,
okay, challenge accepted.
I'm going to give you guys one more last piece of homework, and I want you to come up with a great answer for this, because we did it last year with RJ, and I want to see you guys do it again. This time with Isaac. Your question, wrong answers only.
Oh, God.
Rumble.
What's that?
Who's going to show up in the Rumble? For the record, Isaac, you were not here. I asked this to Brian and RJ. When it came around to me, I said for the women, it would be Jillian Hall. And as you'll remember, because you were in the chat room with us during the Rumble, when she came on, RJ starts cussing me like a dog. God damn you, Patrick.
Since I hear that music playing, I want to take a real quick moment and shout out brand new friend of show, Sage from California.
The coach.
Thank you for spreading the good word out there, Cali way, about Wrestling with Egos. I appreciate you, sir. And he's doing what we're asking you all to do every week. Just spread the word. Like us, subscribe so you get the notifications. Give us that 5-star review. You can interact with the show at WrestlingXEgos on Twitter. You can email us, wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. Our Facebook page also is out there. Just search us on Facebook. And spread the word. You know, that's all we ask. We just want to get more eyes on the product. We're trying to get to those 500 subscribers so we can get some chops in on the Reverend of the Rant over there. But really what we want to keep doing is bringing you this juicy content. We're looking forward to the Rumble this week. Isaac, Patrick, anything else you want to get in there before we head off into the sunset?
Yeah, the Rumble's next week.
Yeah, this week, next week. It's Rumble season. You know this. We're a lean, mean wrestle talking machine. I got to get my stuff in.
Yeah, you know what? Might as well. I'll let Isaac get all his shit in tonight. So
I want a big banner right across my face that says hashtag Rumble Season. That's what I want when you edit the show.
Oh, absolutely freaking not.
Rumble sizzle. And then I can go this way.
Gentlemen,
Terms.
is
It
that
can
going to
spin
happen?
around my head. Rumble sizzle.
No. In a word, no. In 2 words, hell no.
Hell no. In 3 words, hell no.
If I could indulge you for just a second, though, before we do head on out of here. Did you or did you not like from the Iggy Awards show when I went super card? Did you like that, or did you think it was a little too self-indulgent?
Oh, no, it was great.
Because I know I had Isaac going. He was even doing it after like the second or third.
You just asked me, was it too self-indulgent? You're
Because
asking
it's me we're talking about. I'm like,
You're asking me if it's too self-indulgent, knowing full well-
Isaac, was it too self-indulgent since we don't need to ask Patrick? Super.
It was never too super.
I'm a fan of self-indulgence, whether it's mine, yours, Isaac's. I don't care. It's great. I think it's hilarious.
Okay.
Guys, it's gonna wrap it up because remember how I said I'm dog sitting? They're both staring at me and they want to go out. They want to go
Are
out
you done yet?
in the snow.
Partner?
Are we done yet? Are we done?
Not only that, but I just had a dog cough up a hairball. Yay.
Oh boy, well, we'll let you go take care of that then.
Yeah.
It's about to go down, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying.
Boys and girls. That being said, we're going to get out of here. Isaac, Brian, love you guys. We will talk to you guys next week when we talk about some Rumble and some Goldberg without him screwing up a match and damn near killing somebody. Until then, I'm Patrick. Thanks for watching Wrestling with Egos. For Brian and Isaac and everybody else involved with the show, this is why we love wrestling.